Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is E-Star Tarot, and today we're going to do another collective and timeless reading to see what our ancestors, spirit guides, and guardian angels would like to deliver to us as a message today. And with us we have our aragonite crystal, which is, or excuse me, that's not aragonite. This is aurora quartz. Yeah, it has another more complicated name. I think it's anandamide quartz. I might be getting that wrong, but I know for sure this is aurora quartz. So yeah, it's I really love this cluster. It's really beautiful. It's a nice big crystal, but it's I really love the feeling of it because this crystal really lifts your spirits. It gives you really positive and hopeful feelings. It kind of restores that, that joyful feeling in your heart. It makes you feel that, abundance, like life is abundant, life is joyful, life is fun. So yeah, really great crystal have this reading. And we have our rabbit totem to be with us in this reading. So maybe rabbits have a special meaning for you. Yeah, let's get into this reading. We're going to start off with our patch tarot today and see what messages this collective needs to hear from their ancestors, spirit guides, and guardian angels. Ooh, quick. So we got the Hierophant. Another one. Let's just get a couple cards first. One, two. Okay, we're going to leave it at that. And let's see where we are at. We have the Hierophant to start off. Oh, I put the cards away and this one slipped out, so we're gonna take that as well. All right, so we've got the Hierophant here with spirituality. Let's see what else we got. Wow, Queen of Wands as well. Passionate. Three of Cups, yeah. Very positive, very abundant. An Eight of Swords, okay. Confusion. Six of Wands, yeah. Like that. And the All, embrace. Embrace the All. All right. So we got a lot going on here. Overall, I think someone is stepping into a new role in their life, and it's something that's going to bring them a lot of reason to celebrate, right? The Three of Cups here. I think you're stepping into both your own spirituality, your spiritual power, but part of that is your creative expression. So you might be doing something creative. Maybe you have some sort of craft or even a business that you're starting, or something entrepreneurial for sure. She's got a big sunflower with her. Maybe you're even just a gardener, or maybe you grow food. But this is someone who, them stepping into that kind of role, is their destined path. They're a teacher. There's someone who's meant to be a teacher to others. And there's a spiritual teaching in the craft, the work that you do, whatever that may be. But I do get strongly that it's a creative kind of act. So you might be doing something, artistic. It could be something that's, like a self-starter. Like you could be doing something that no one else has done, like some kind of business, or, you could even be making a spiritual app, who knows. But there's someone who is, stepping into that role is bringing them a lot of recognition, a sense of victory in their life, because you have like the celebration here, but then we have Eight of Swords here. I think the Eight of Swords is just about, the end of confusion, right? Because I think you've been in turmoil for a long time thinking, what is my path? What is my role? What am I supposed to do here? How can I best use my time on this earth? But, you stepping into that role that you've always known you're meant for is going to bring an end to that confusion. I think you've had that path blocked from you for a long time, actually. And the reason for, celebration here is that you're finally overcoming that blockage. And part of overcoming the blockage is, I think, embracing it as well, because you have the all here and it has all the planets here, you know, all the dimensions. It's like seeing everything as it is, you know, that life isn't meant to be always smooth and easy. You know, it's got its challenges, but those challenges are there to test you and to make you stronger, make you be aware of, you know, shortcomings or things where you need to improve, or shadows that you were overlooking, things that you need to embrace about yourself that you were, you know, rejecting. Yeah. We have Jupiter and Leo here, so there's, you know, you're getting recognition. And then we have Mercury in Cancer. So it was like, you're going to feel more able to share with others your good news, because maybe it's something you haven't felt comfortable sharing with others as well. Maybe you've always felt like your communication was stuck, because we have the Jupiter and Gemini here with 8 of Swords. So maybe there was like, it was like an overabundance of communication, or like, you know, you might have even been hearing spiritual messages, but those messages were being blocked, or it was too much. You didn't know how to handle it in the right way. So it caused a blockage for you. It caused you to be in chaos. But you being able to overcome that and become embracing of that gift that you have and learn how to channel that power. That's what's bringing you in, you know, into your victory, into your abundance, into, you know, joy, because it's like Jupiter goes from Gemini to Leo, right? Where it's more exalted, it's better, has better outcomes for you. Now let's get some more cards here. I'm gonna take some cards from the Inner Child deck. You know the way, 4-4. Trust your intuition on this journey. And she's riding, you know, a deer. It feels like a very, you know, a shamanic, or a, you know, the path of a monk or something like that. But overall, you are guided by your intuition. You're guided by those gifts that maybe you were not able to embrace before. Maybe you were rejecting of them before, but now you're starting to understand. You're starting to embrace it. Maybe even step into a higher role with that. You know, maybe you teach others how to tap into their intuition. And you know, the number 4-4 here really makes me think you're being guided and protected, you know, by an angelic presence, because number 4 is the number of protection. And you know, when you double and triple the number, it adds to it, right? So you're very guided, you're very protected on this journey. Move these guys up here. Yeah, so there's nothing to fear here. You know, it's fear itself that is the blockage. So, and I just read she's riding the horse here and she's riding the deer here. So you're on like this, you know, you have this momentum going with you. You're on this trajectory for something that you're being carried to. It's like there's this spiritual force with you. It's like there's this energy coming with you that, you know, others can't help but recognize. They can't help but like celebrate you, because it's so obvious that there's something special about you. There's something magnetic, some kind of truth that you hold. Maybe you just hold the energy of the all with you. Be still. Cultivate a space of stillness and silence to just be. A little bit hard with all this celebration going on, isn't it? But that's your path. Yeah, maybe it's, you know, partly all this, you know, good vibes, good energy. It can be a little bit overwhelming too, right? Maybe that's part of the 8 of Swords energy. Maybe you do get overwhelmed easily and you kind of, you pull back from those things even when things are going well for you. So that might be something that you have to deal with. Maybe you have to learn ways to be, grounded during times of, even when things are good, when things are going well, right? Because maybe that's part of what's been a blockage for you, is that even when things go well, sometimes like the shift in energy is so dramatic and so chaotic that it feels like, no, I want to retreat back and go back to my quiet life. But you're not destined for a quiet life. You're destined for recognition. You're destined for, to be celebrated and to, be in the eyes of others, right? Like, be a voice for others, especially if you're teaching spirituality. Maybe it's something that's, you're going to have to get used to and find ways to embrace that and make it work in your life. And oftentimes, when we have a spiritual nature, sometimes, we do prefer the quiet. We do prefer to retreat from, society and all the noise, like I definitely do. So I find it a little bit tough to be around too much of it. So yeah, that might be part of your journey, is learning how to navigate that. Mustard, yeah. There's like a mustard, because talks about the mustard seed, there's a mustard seed of truth, of authenticity with you that you're carrying with you. You're carrying the sacred cup, like something within you, some kind of truth that you're bringing to the world. Clover. Okay. Clover. Let me just take a look here. Yeah, and mustard seed talks about the details as well. I was just glancing at that one. So there might be something where, maybe getting hung up on details is something that, you might need to watch out for. Usually the card talks about you need to focus on the details, but I feel like focusing on the details here is actually something that's, it's like analysis paralysis, getting you overwhelmed. So maybe, focusing in on what you can handle is part of that, learning about what you can put your energy towards and where your limits are is part of this. And clover appears in late spring, and it's in a very sudden and enthusiastic way. So it's about creative abundance is all around us. And it can mean a bit of a lucky break, right? Something lucky happening. And we have it underneath the Queen of Wands. So it tells me that, there's something here that's, you might be a late bloomer. You might be someone that hasn't, embraced this side of themselves for a long time. Maybe you spend a long enough time in isolation and confusion and doubt. But now things are going to take a different turn very suddenly and very abundantly that you're not expecting. Especially with this Queen of Wands energy. So maybe a business is suddenly going to take off, or you're suddenly going to be able to jump into a business idea that's going to really, really be profitable for you, or just really put you in the eyes of, the greater community. And, you're going to be a real, big player in the wider community as well. Yeah, because there's a warning with clover, it can get easy to get excited with all the bounty of energy, but you're not meant to rush into it. Knowing where to stop. So again, we go back to that, knowing where your point of overwhelm is and how to navigate that. Knowing when to pull back so that you don't, because sometimes we can get so overly involved in something and then suddenly it's just too much and you want to escape it. We don't want that to happen for you. We want you to, be steady, be moving forward. You know the way. So you know what your limits are. You know what works for you and what doesn't. You have to be still in the right moments to find yourself again, feel grounded again, to keep that spiritual energy high. because maybe all this celebration and recognition, could throw you off this time. You might even, have that impulse to, run away or maybe, retreat, right? So, I think the message here overall is don't do that. Try to hold yourself steady through it. And it's okay. Yeah, trustworthy guidance. You've received a wonderful idea as an answer to your prayers. So you might be getting a really, good idea coming in, especially for a business or something creative, something you want to create, right? And that is going to bring you this recognition and celebration and abundance. So trust the guidance, but also trust the guidance that tells you, when you need to step back and when you need to take a break, when you need to rest, when you need to recharge and ground yourself again. Find again that energy that keeps you at that high vibration. And I think the mustard seed could be connected with this as well. It feels like, there's the kernel, the mustard seed. It's like this little nitty-gritty piece that contains the whole plant. Maybe there is something here where a little idea is going to lead to something very big. And it's, it's the all. It's got something, really profound with it. The ocean, the deep blue sea speaks to your soul. Maybe going to the ocean is a part of how you cleanse and refine your energy, refine yourself. Maybe just staring at the ocean is something that helps you to feel centered again. Maybe that's where you'll get a good idea coming in as well. Maybe just being quiet by the ocean. There's also I don't know if it's an ocean here, but it feels like there's a sea of clouds here, but it feels very ocean-like. So, that could be part of this. Allow its power and beauty to wash away all cares and concerns. Yeah, so you definitely could benefit from maybe taking a little beach trip, do some walks on the beach, or get somewhere close to water, maybe a lake. Even saltwater baths could be helpful in this case. Just to make sure you're finding that time to reconnect with yourself, because I think you're coming into a really, some really good things are going to happen for you. I think some good ideas are going to come in for you. You're going to get really inspired. You're going to feel like there's a lot of attention on you, and it might feel like, you might feel an urge to retreat, but don't retreat, because this could be, a big moment for you. This could be a big turning point for you, and you don't want to let old habits hold you back. If you have a habit of retreating, of keeping yourself, out of the limelight, right? So this might be something you have to work on. But all you have to do is just take care of yourself. It's that simple. Take care of yourself. Take care of your needs. Don't allow yourself to be pushed into situations that don't feel right for you. Maintain those boundaries. And boundaries can be with your time, so how much you're committing to something. Make sure it's something that aligns with you. Aquarius, Sun in Aquarius. Opportunity, yes, some big opportunity might be coming in for you. Readiness for change. Life's going to really change for you. It's going to be very different, and maybe that will be something that's a little bit alarming to you. Like, you're thinking, oh no, life's getting really crazy and hectic. Is this what I even wanted? But I think you do want it. I think you do want your life to be different. I think there is something good that's going to come in for you very, very soon. Maybe a new opportunity, or maybe it's just recognition. Like maybe you'll go viral in some way, or maybe you'll, if you're on social media and you create in that regard, like Queen of Wands here. Maybe you have a kind of business that you're working on right now and it's going to really take off soon. Maybe you're just, an artist of some kind. Maybe you write or you play music. Maybe you're going to get really popular on Spotify, anything could happen overnight. And, it's a very sudden change, and it can feel like a little bit scary, right? Like it can scare us a bit, but that's okay. As long as we can manage it in the right way, we can handle anything. eclipse in Aquarius too. There's a lot of Aquarius energy here. Maybe you are an Aquarius. Maybe some of your natal chart aligns with Aquarius, like like maybe you have your career in Aquarius, like your career house, your 10th house, or maybe your North Node is in Aquarius, something like that. Eclipse in Aquarius, awakening. Your deeper resolve rises. This could definitely be a spiritual work that you do. We have someone in meditation pose there, and we have the Hierophant here. So you could be someone that's a spiritual, some kind of spiritual teacher, or you do some kind of spiritual practice. Maybe your art is your spiritual practice. Who knows? But something big's going to happen. There's going to be some kind of awakening. Maybe you're going to just have a brilliant idea that's going to lead you to start some kind of business, and it feels like everything's taking off really quickly. And you love it, but you're also a little bit scared of it, or a little bit easily overwhelmed or overstimulated maybe. Or maybe you just get fatigued very easily, and it'll be easy to be, burnt out from this. But just go slow with it. Be still and be open to guidance. Because I think a part of the being still is also about receiving the ideas, receiving the guidance about what you're meant to be doing. I think you're entering a very lucky time in your life where things are going to shift in very dramatic ways. Life's going to get a lot easier, a lot more abundant, a lot more fun. So you're gonna have to adjust to that. Which, it sounds funny because you think good things are good things, right? That's what everybody wants. But sometimes it's if we're not used to it, can be a bit overwhelming, right? So yeah, just take it slow. I think I want another card here, but I'm not sure. Hold on. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take maybe a couple butterfly cards here to end this reading on. We got a lot of change coming in. Maybe we can get a little hint of what's changing. Sobriety, wow. Okay, sobriety. Interesting. So we got sobriety. And courage, wow. So somebody might be really, taking the next step on their spiritual path. So with courage here too, someone might be on the path of sobriety even, and that might be part of their awakening, is realizing everything that they can do once they're sober and once they're more aligned with themselves, like return to themselves, right? But sobriety doesn't have to be like you're in the throes of addiction. You might be someone that, because there's a lot that we can become cleansed from, right? Like there's a lot of chemicals and different toxins in our environment, or things that can influence us in different ways that make us feel unaligned and off the right path for us, right? It might even be that you're helping others with their sobriety. You might be an addictions counselor. Maybe you're beginning a business with that, or maybe you're helping people with that aspect. Maybe something that maybe the work that you do relates to that in some way. Like maybe you talk about that journey, and maybe you inspire others with your own, story of overcoming addictions, or, trying to find your own awakening, right? I sense this as someone who's been on a big transformational path. There's been a lot of low moments, a lot of dark moments, but a lot of like rebirths and rising from the ashes, right? Even the Queen of Wands here is a very phoenix-like energy, right? And that's something a lot of people do need, is because a lot of people are addicted to quite a number of things. There's even technology. Technology, I think, is probably one of the worst addictions right now for most people. Um, People are really addicted to their phones, and that includes myself. Like I have bad habits there too. So hmm, maybe you're gonna help people to recognize that in themselves, and be able to reconnect with themselves, because with all addictions, really, it does kind of the same thing. It takes us away from what we're meant to be doing, right? It steals away our time. It steals away our motivation, our you know it lowers our vibration, so we're not in that manifestation energy. We're not in that alignment with our true path. So maybe you help encourage others to recognize that in themselves, and to have the courage to move forward from that, have the courage to step away from those addictions, right? And sobriety can also just be about being able to manifest, right? Because when it's about getting clear-headed, right? And maybe you're getting clarity here about what you're meant to be doing, and you're not letting yourself sink into fantasy, or into being lost, or being absorbed in other things that don't matter, right? Maybe, and then all that is having the courage to step onto that path that you're meant for. You know the way. You know what you're meant to be doing. It's just about you having the step, taking the step, sorry, and having the courage to do so, right? And maybe just you being a role model in that, encourages others, is what teaches others how to do it for themselves. Yeah. It's a worthy path in life. Maybe you're on that journey yourself, like you're learning how to be still and sit with yourself and be in that energy, and not be giving in to things that pull us away from our true path. And that'll be something that you can teach to others, that you can pass on to others, and that will be your your true calling. So yeah, that's what I have for you today. I think this is a beautiful reading. I think you're on a beautiful path here. And all you have to do is be aligned with yourself, be able to be quiet with yourself, and embrace the guidance that comes to you. As you do have good ideas, you do have something brilliant to share. And I think you'll help a lot of people in doing so. So yeah, that's the end of the reading. I hope it was helpful for you. Thank you for staying to the end. I appreciate all your likes and subscribes. They help the channel out a lot. And if the story resonated, you can leave a comment and share your story. I love reading comments, and I love hearing how the readings resonate. It's always really interesting. So if you feel like you want to do that, go right ahead. And if not, I'll see you in the next one. Take care.